and headset microphone. There we go. Right. Hello, welcome everyone to the World Touring Car Series 2000. We have a epic race going on today. It's just a pre-season testing, but we're gonna see just who can come out on top. So, with that in mind, it's gonna be pretty good. Just testing that to make sure that works. And here we go. We have cars now coming out on track. We're gonna follow them round. Who's that? That's Ruben van der Peet of the Citroen Racing team. He's going to go on his initial laps. I need to check. I don't think my cam tool was loaded. So this is my first time doing a broadcast for this league, so we're still learning some stuff here. Here we go. Now we have Van der Peet here, just going around on an outlap, scouting the track. The session has begun. On top of that, I believe we have Enzo Mancinelli, of course. Alfa Romeo fielding a familial lineup with, I think, also on top of Enzo, you have Alex Mancinelli, who's just in the pits there. So, our fair share of drivers here. We'll see what, of course, they can do. Here we go, as you see him go past the Schumacher, now into the long back straight, as we call it. All the way down the hill, and then a sweeping right-hander. Just got to get it right. There it is. Fabulous from Enzo Mancinelli, who now goes up the hill into the braking zone for the chicane. We're using the formula layout, so we have to go over that really tight, somewhat nippy, difficult chicane. And the last corner now, rounding it very, very cleanly as more drivers are starting to take to their cars now. Let's have a look elsewhere. Let's see what Van der Peet's up to. Van der Peet is now on the straight. And I seem to have no sound, so I need to quickly just do a little bit of debugging while we're doing this, because I don't have any desktop audio at all, and that's not normal. So, if you want me to guess, it's probably going to be, I'm going to close that, there we go. Yeah, if you want me to guess, there's probably something to do with a couple other things going on. There we go, Van der Peet's at a 5-minute lap time. So, here we go, I'll shrink that down. Let's have a look elsewhere. Elliot Vega has just come to the track in the Volkswagen Bora, the number 24. This is a completely original car to the WTCS series. We haven't seen this car in any other touring car series in the world. And what a fabulous machine it looks like as it goes all the way through there. Sparks coming flying off of the floor in the first sector here, coming out of turn 5. Going down the straight now towards the very difficult and tricky left and right handers before turn 8. So I'm seeing them now starting to come out here onto the track. That's a rather unfortunate acronym for Van der Peer here. I just realised on the leaderboard that's P. Very unfortunate. Here we go, and Bivona, Agostino Bivona of Toyota fame, is now going out onto the track. Autobax has a bit of an interesting situation where they were running Renault cars last season and now are bringing in an imported JGTC machine, tweaked down to super touring-ish specs to keep things as tight as possible. The car variety this season is absolutely incredible. We've got over 10 different manufacturers, including Alfa Romeo, Vauxhall, Toyota, Citroen, Lexus, Nissan, Volkswagen, BMW, Ford, Mazda, Renault, Skoda, and more. And the idea is to promote as much manufacturer compatibility as possible, as we see Vivona now starting to accelerate around the corner. I am going to check my audio because I think something's wrong with my sound. We'll be back very, very shortly. So, we are back with WTCS 2000 coverage, and right now, as we see Enzo now coming out of the pit lane again, he's crossed the pit exit line there, have to have a word with the stewards on that one, but we are back with full audio coverage. I'd like to thank you for your patience with the technical difficulties, and we are now clear to begin racing again. So, we've got Jos Everts right now, set a 208.082. Mancinelli obviously here on an outlap. We've got both Mancinellis actually on outlaps, I believe. And then you have Van der Peet in doing a 210. Marsha doing a 210.6. Vega now on an outlap as we follow around. Let's see what Maximilian Marschner is up to in the Vauxhall. Here we go, see him run down the straight. And of course this is just pre-season testing, so we can't exactly read into this perhaps as much as we'd like to, because we don't know whether all teams are representative or whether they're pushing as the track limits get thoroughly disrespected. We don't know exactly how hard they're pushing, and perhaps if they've got a certain run plan in mind. As we see, the gap's the best lap of Maximilian, a 210.736. Being pushed here. Here we go then, into the braking zone. Let's see just what we can do through the Schumacher S. Let's have a look elsewhere. Mancinelli is on a good lap. He's on just coming up behind it actually, in the number 1 car. Alex Mancinelli this is. I don't know if they're brothers, if they're like, you know, family, like father, son, whatever, I don't know. Someone needs to fill me in on this, but yeah, the Mancinelli duo are absolutely running the Alfa Romeo team this year pretty much. Nordato into the Nurburgring. Here we go into the chicane then, let's have a look. Very, very aggressive on that chicane there as we go now towards the final corner. Let's see if this could perhaps pit Everts. I don't believe it will, as the Vauxhall now crosses the line, doesn't go quicker. And Mancinelli 208, that is quicker. That's better than his last lap. Puts him nicely up into 3rd. Anyway, elsewhere. Let's have a look. Van der Peet. Gosh, I really need to do better than this. Behind the BMW, I believe, of Hayes. And Hayes on the racing line. Van der Peet. We're getting a bit of racing action here in the pre-season testing. There goes the Sara. Goes through. Gets a clean job done there as we now go up the hill towards the Schumacher S. Citroen Racing, of course, debuting in the WTCS 1999 with run 2000, the new Sara kit car, tweaked specifically for the WTCS spec racing, and yeah, it's so low to the ground the way that it just about floats. It's incredible how low the ride height can get on this new generation of WTCS machines. And same with the BMW behind it, and I believe there's an Alfa Romeo back there as well, so that'll be one of the Mancinellis potentially coming off their previous lap. And let's have a look now through the chicane. They go. Van der Peet, I believe, coming into the pit lane. So, let's have a look at Garn Hayes. Garn Hayes is number 53, a new driver for this season for the BMW car. Seems to be off the racing line, I believe, just letting the Alfa Romeo through. Yeah, there you go. So we'll see what Hayes can do. As Garn comes down the hill now for a Listerine Schubert. A BMW privateer team. The 320, I believe that is as well, the new car for this season. Excellent machine. There we go. see it gripping there, coming out of turn 4 and turn 5. Some excellent driving, and there's a Volkswagen now as well caught in this cluster of cars. As we see it go down to the left here, and then to the right, slipstreaming that Volkswagen, trying to make something happen here, as they are sort of just cruising now. Let's have a look at the times. And one of the Mancinellis has banged an absolutely incredible lap. I would like to see who that is, so I'm just going to quickly enable the setting. If you'll just give me 1 second. We can highlight the driver. There you go, that's better. We can see who we're watching right now. Which Mancinelli has scored? It is Alex Mancinelli, who's actually on another push line. So we'll actually sit on board with Alex Mancinelli for a little bit. Jos Everts on the outlap as well, so we need to his time, of course. So let's have a look now as Alex goes up to the Schumacher S. Number 1, so I believe 99. Coming around here, pushing as far as possible, of course. And Van der Beek not doing bad. Bivona, 1.5 of the leader, and then Marshner, Mancinelli. You've got a few cars out on track right now. You've got Hayes, Rimkana. So Vega's just done a 220.9. I believe that must be an outlap. There's no way that that's a push lap. 13 seconds there. And here we go then. So let's see just what we do. Other stories of this season is that this is a debut for Toyota. I want to say this is a debut for Toyota in the MRS, and let's have a listen. Well, I can't believe it. That is a beautiful sound. Listen to this. Spectacular. And in fact, that might actually be Bivona's best lap as well. There. As he now begins to push out of turn 1. Down the hill. Oh, and there's a car behind there that's had a moment. That was Jos Everts, had a little wobble there on the... Indeed it is Jos Everts, who had a bit of a wobble there on the curb, but seems to have saved it for Vodafone Nissan. Vodafone seems to be having a bit of a funny one. They've sponsored at least 2 teams this season. One of them, the Privateer League and Front Racing, who aren't running this session due to a technical issue. But the car that they should be sponsoring, really mainly, Vodafone Nissan Racing, is now on track and currently leading by 0.4 of a second. I believe that's Alex. And then Van der Beek is on an outlap. Vona 1.2. Marshner has come into the pits. The Vauxhall driver seemingly content with what they've done. Mancinelli, I can't remember. Enzo Mancinelli will now be coming out. Hayes, the rookie driver, 4.5 seconds, not doing bad. Both the Volkswagens are notably very off the pace. Vega has only managed 13 seconds off, and Kart has done 16.6. Let's have a look elsewhere. Hera Foxy, in, I believe that's the paced car there, just chilling. Richard Stein is in the session, but is currently just in the pit lane. Marshner seems to be coming out, so let's have a look at Marshner. Bivona, I believe, just come in. Oh, and there's a yellow flag there. There's something. No, never mind. But let's have a look at Hayes, actually. You know what? Yeah, let's have a look at the new Beamer. As you can hear it. What an excellent sound as it comes up the hill, over the crest, the braking zone. Excellent. So, of course, for any new viewers, hello, this is Whole Vision, which is my new broadcasting initiative where I'll be broadcasting both the WTCS season as much as possible, and also on top of that, not just the WTCS, you'll also be getting coverage of the road racing routes. That will begin next season, which will probably be about February time. And that will have its own schedule, its own intro, and its own graphics package. This is the WTCS 2000, the third season of the esteemed World Touring Car Series, of which we've seen plenty of moments, plenty of drama. I've had my own drama in 1998 and 1999. 1998 I drove in the Alton Park round, in which I then proceeded to bury a perfectly good Vauxhall into the barrier, and I broke the steering column to reset my car using a bit of mechanical trickery once it got to the pit lane. And in 1999 I managed to race at Fuji Speedway for Redstone Honda. I achieved a pretty modest result, had a really good battle with Leonidas Bouya, who is also on the grid this year, but I don't think he is this session, no. The only cars that have scored valid lap times are 1 through 11. Everyone else is currently not on track. We're just sort of looking, it's very calm, not a lot of activity out on track. And Vega appears to have done a better lap now, so we should have there is Elliot Vega, who actually could go quicker, so we'll sort of stick with him here, coming out of the hairpin at the bottom of the hill. That'll be going up to the Schumacher S. And here we go. Let's see how I'll handle it. Pretty solid coming out now, gotta go right. And this is Vega Sport, number 24 Volkswagen. Pretty solid car. Let's have a look at the calendar this season, because there are some interesting choices, I'll put it this way, and it would be great to share. So first off, the season kicks off in Donington Park in the United Kingdom, where all drivers, it'll be pretty good. It's more than likely expected to be dry, as far as we know. After that will be the Japanese legendary track, Fuji Speedway, last season. That was an excellent round. Absolutely worth tuning in to watch. After that, Autodromo Lago Maggiore, the Italian circuit, has also been on the calendar before, and after a small sort of cult following it's gathered, and Vega now improves, going ahead of Hayes, 2:11, achieving a time that's under 4 seconds off of the leaders, so the Volkswagen seems to be stronger than perhaps it was first shown. Let's have a look at Kart, the team, the Swirly Kart. Does a 220, now going down the hill. And while we look at that, whoa, big lock up there, it's turn 1. After that you have the Circuit St. Croix, which will be a very long round, very difficult, very tricky track, lots of straight corners. Grand Valley Speedway, which will be in America, is obviously quite a very aggressive track. Circuit Trois Rivieras, which I have never seen racing before, so that will be a hell of a round. Kyalami, which is a classic track, absolutely rapid, legendary circuit, as is the Circuito de Jerez, which will be a round of all time, I'm sure. Dragon Trail Seaside with the infamous Chicane of Death, and finally the final round of the final round of the season, sorry, will be the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit in Northamptonshire. So, with that in mind, Let's have a look at what Hayes is up to, actually. He's in the pits. Who have we got to watch right now? If you're in the pits... let's have a look at Marsha. Number 51, Vauxhall. Good to see a Vauxhall that isn't smashed up in the barriers. Let's hope it stays that way, because, again, that's what I did the last time I drove a Vauxhall. Did not go very well. But this is not me driving. This is Maximilian Marsha, who is another rookie, I believe, for this season. Running in number 51. And it is brilliant to see, actually, the amount of rookies for this season is, well, it's the highest number that I've ever seen in any championship for a while. So we'll see how the rookies get on. We'll see how the established rookies get on. I think it's going to be a very interesting 2000 season. A little chain of cars here. You've got Marshner Bivona car. It's just done the 221, which improves their time by 8 tenths. Marsha has done a 210.9. And you have Agostino Bivona now coming down the hill. Just ahead. Oh, wow. You can hear that MRS and then the Vauxhall just behind it. Rim Kunas, I believe. The Zero Motorsports Lexus has just come out onto the track with their very, very unique livery. It almost looks a bit like it is like a testing livery, camouflage, and very, very striking. And let's see Rim Kunas. Rim Kunas, who's a driver from last season, did pretty well. Got 5th in the championship, as you can see, with 5. Oh, that Lexus. Wow, that noise is absolutely spectacular. Hold on, I'm going to shut up for a moment. Let's just give that a listen. Absolute madness. And let's see how this lap begins then, and then we'll go to have a look at Van der Peet, who is now currently on an outlap. So it seems that there is a good mix of manufacturers. Alfa Romeo have both managed to score 2nd and 6th respectively, so that's a good performance. Kirkham, I believe, is in the session, as is Stein, but I don't believe either of them have gone out on the track yet. We do know, as far as I've received an alert, that weather is coming. We are going to get some wet weather running. We don't know how many cars are going to be brave enough to dare it, so if you want to get some dry running, now is a very good time to consider it. Because the Nurburgring in the wet has a bit of a history of throwing up some incredible surprises. Get the run down to turn 1, as we have Rim Kunas now achieving a 210.86. And Mancinelli for now, Alex Mancinelli has decided to get out of the car, has decided that enough is enough. As, yeah, we'll see, it's a 210.896, it's a very good lap. That puts him within 3 seconds of leaders. So, of all the cars that have achieved very solid runs so far, 4 seconds between 1st and 9th. Rim Kunas has decided to box there. I don't know what's happened there. Just teleported. A bit of lag. Oh, and Vega goes a little bit wide. That Volkswagen seems to be proving quite difficult to drive then if both drivers are struggling at the bottom of the board. Let's have a look. Tell you what we haven't watched is Kirkham, who's just done a 209, the Citroen racing car, achieving a very fast lap there. Wow. Let's have a look actually. Let's go with Kirkham this lap. Have a look and see just what we can do. Oh, I've lost Kirkham. Give me a moment. There he is. As he goes down the hill now towards the left-hander. pushing very hard in the speed trap. Achieved 138.5 horsepower. What an excellent run there in the speed trap. As he now comes around here, left-hander coming up. The BMW of Hayes giving plenty of give. Oh, and Kirkham has had a moment. Big spin there, and I think I start to see rain. I think there's rain in the air. There is. And all the teams now are in a spot of bother, because as that rain starts to come down, I believe most of them are on dry tyres. So Kirkham there has had a massive off. Had a full 360 into the grass. Mancinelli is now back. Alex Mancinelli has now returned. Yeah, we're starting to see rain now on the circuit. All of the drivers now will seriously need to consider their options, how they're going to approach this. And here we go now, as Kirkham, no doubt, will be heading into the pits after that one. His tyres will be absolutely on fire. As we see him round the thing into the chicane. And up the hill. And no, he is not pitting, interestingly, even though the conditions have changed, it is starting to rain. It's only light for now, but we could see it get heavier later. There is a car that is coming in though. That's one of the Alfa Romeos I can see back there. I believe that's Enzo, yep, who's just come in, and I believe we'll be switching to wet tyres. Vega and the MRS, and there is rain on the lenses, people. So it's not just rain in the air, it's not like around the track, it is on the circuit. Oh, and the Volkswagen's gone very wide there. Completely missed the chicane. Interesting line, and oh, that is very squirrely. They got to hold on to their line. And Kart there has just also had a bit of a moment, just teleported to the pit lane for some reason. As Bivona now only a second within Everts, so good running for the Toyota driver, who seems to be achieving a hell of a lot right now. Everts has pushed ahead. But yeah. Elliot Vega, absolutely sending it right now. Kart is in the pits, but the top 7 is separated by 1.6 seconds, and the rain is starting to pour down now. I doubt we'll see much improvement in terms of lap time, but it will be absolutely critical for all the cars to come out in the wet weather and see just how hard they can push. Sort of learn how their car feels in varying conditions, because running in the wet requires a very different skill set, and you can see the spray now starting to kick up as the VW goes sideways at the hairpin, coming up to the Schumacher S's. Very dramatic moment there. Let's have a look at, we haven't seen the Vauxhall, the Alfa Romeo in a little bit, so we'll see sort of how they're doing in their run. So I believe it is... Oh, that's Alex Mancinelli ahead. You can hear the transmission whine as they drop into the chicane. So it's the two Mancinellis running together in the conditions, with the Vauxhall just behind. Oh, we've lost one of them. Enzo has just disconnected, so we'll just see Alex here. And I believe the Vauxhall has just dove into the pits. It has. Maximilian Marschner has gone into the pits. And Richard Stein has also done something, but I can't seem to get a camera on him at the moment. There you go. The number 25. I don't know why my graphics showing number 23. I believe that may be a glitch in the system. We'll need to sort that out. But yeah, Richard Stein, the second driver for Nissan this season. He did a stand-in run, I believe, at some point, and has become more full-time for the WTCS 2000 season. We'll see how he does. He gets a bit twitchy on the curve there. He's starting to go up the hill. We'll see. This is looking like it's going to be a very good lap, but goes very deep at the Schumacher S. Just about keeps it together. Brilliant bit of driving there. Throttle control from the Nissan driver. Goes left here into the S's and now down the hill. Excellent. Bit of control, as I was saying, bit of control. We're going a bit sideways, going loosey-goosey, coming out of the corner at the top of the hill, now coming down. And here we go. We go up now towards the chicane. Let's see, this is going to be a bit of a shaky time, I think, because of the conditions and also the fact that we've got about 90 degrees both ways. And another little twitch there, and perhaps the Nissan. A bit difficult to drive in the wet, potentially. That could be a storyline in the season. And it seems that the Mancinellis are having difficulties staying connected to the WTCS server, so might have to bear with that. Yeah, 224, that's obviously with the sideways included, that's fairly reasonable. Coming down the hill now to turn 1. Who else is on a lap? Kirkham, who's gone a bit wide there, coming out of turn 3. Now coming down the hill. That Citroen livery is really good. Is that the... I believe it's based off of their WRC team, who also is entering the World Rally Championship this year. Very interested to see how they do, but alas, this is the World Touring Car Series. So, now we'll see. Everts has done a 2:08 flat. He's done an excellent lap time in the Nissan and hasn't really been challenged this session. Perhaps as hard as you would believe. Mancinelli 0.42, Kirkham 0.969, Vivona and Van der Peet are in the pits. So Citroen is looking strong. Alfa Romeo is looking strong despite the leaderboard glitch. Oh, Kirkham's had a little twitch coming into the bottom hill of the hill, turn 8. And seems to be slowing down onto the grass. Interesting choice there. Oh, gets a bit sideways, and I think there's a... Was there a Nissan back there? Oh, sideways both times. He's showing off now. I believe... oh, and the headlights have now come on as well, so all this he's got headlights enabled now. There is a Nissan that's gone through there. So that's Richard Stein. That is Richard Stein. Oh, and Kirkham's gone a little bit sideways on the curve. But here comes Stein. So the story right now seems to be Alfa Romeo and Citroen are looking pretty strong. Bivona and the Toyota has done a brilliant job. Nissan seems to be a bit hot and cold. Oh, and there's a car that's got off there. That would be Jay Kirkham. Has had a complete off coming round the fast bend. Seems to have recovered it. Seems to have sorted that now. A bit of an incident there, of course, transpiring. So, treacherous conditions catching everyone off guard. Have a look. See where Everts is. Of course, yes, Everts. Oh, and there's a car that's gone off. Oh, and it's had a big spin, and that's Vega, I believe. Elliot Vega. Yep, it's had a spin for Volkswagen. Seems to have got it back on track now. The Bora sort of lapping around. And again, it goes again. Elliot Vega has had 2 offs, and we seem to have lost him. We'll see where he comes back on. There he goes. Whoa, those tyres must be absolutely destroyed as he's blinking his lights out of frustration. Kirkham has disconnected now from the server, so they might be... I mean, the weather is absolutely atrocious right now. And haze as well. So we're starting to lose drivers, probably because of the conditions. Let's have a look elsewhere then. There's Stein taking the opportunity to get used to running that Nissan in the wet, doing a pretty good job now. We had the little wobble earlier, of course, but that seems to have been addressed. And there's a slow car on track. That is Maximilian Marschner, who seems to have just stopped on the inside of turn 8. Has managed to get going for a moment, managed to get it going, and now has had a round, paid a trip to the gravel trap, trying not to get it stuck. Let's have a look. Where did you go? There you are. You're back. And Maximilian Marschner, after a little spin on the exit of turn 8, gets going once more. And the Lexus there, going a little bit wide, the Nissan close behind, and Tiffington is just arrived on the track, the Skoda. And you know what, let's see what the Skoda can do. When the Skoda goes on track, I'm going to go the onboard will be particularly useful, as we can see just what is going on. Kunas as well, 2.8, has improved by a second since the last time we've seen him on the circuit. Interestingly, none of the Fords, only the privateer BMW, none of the Peugeots and none of the Audis, so we'll see who and when. There's also a Honda that hasn't run yet. We've got also none of the Mazdas with Luzdag. Renault yet as well. So to be fair, this is only day 1 of pre-season testing. There are 2 days. Tomorrow the weather looks a lot more sunny. So we'll see, of course, how that goes. But let's have a look then. Since I wanted to look at Tiffington, let's have a look at Tiffington, shall we? The Skoda. It has a fabulous sound as it comes down the hill now. And I mean, seeing a Skoda in the WTCS, the bright pink rims, absolutely striking, because it's green body blood. As it begins to push now. And Tiffington, of course, is another story of this season, in that the battle last season he had was pretty challenging, pretty good. Got used to the car in the end, and now is pushing the Skoda as hard as possible. Comes down the hill. Let's see how it handles the fast right in the wet. There doesn't seem to be a dry line forming, so it looks like it's going to be hard wet running for the next 47 minutes. This WTCS session, you can see the heat on the brakes, but it gets a bit too much cover. Now pushing. Let's see what an actual lap will look like, because this is of course just an out lap. Don't worry, the 30, he's not on a 35. That would be pretty horrendous. Yeah, let's see what the actual lap will look like. Here we go. Starts out, goes down towards turn 1 in the wet conditions. Seems to be pretty good so far. Keeps it very tidy through the first few corners. And now right-hander out of sector 1. Let's see what sector 2 is like. We'll have a look at the Actually, you know what? Even better. Let's have a look at the telemetry. See just how that car handles itself. Very easy on the throttle. This brings the push out of the corner. Through the Schumacher S. And while the lap times aren't exactly going to be setting the world on fire due to the changing conditions, earlier we did have some dry running for you tuning in late. There was a little bit of dry running, but since then there has not been a whole lot more of that. It has been soaking wet, miserably dark, but the fans in the crowds staying for the action, the cars staying on track despite the potential ideas of dropout. Oh, and Tivitano getting let's go down. And there's Buvona, I believe, now coming to the pits. Yeah, Adjective Buvona. Just going into the pit box now. So let's see what this time is. It is a 2:26.9. The wet conditions are making a massive impact on the backstops now. The likes of Stein and Tiffintan only really getting wet running. And it's had a massive slide into turn 1. That's an excellent save there. Let's have a look at Jos Everts, our current session leader, making that this sound very, very fast. Have a look. Oh, and Everts. Oh, and both Nissans. Is that a Nissan sandwich? Richard Stein going back on track there, then Volkswagen having to dodge. What's happened there? Both of the Nissans have just wiped out on the track. The Alfa Romeo of, I think that was Enzo Mancinelli there, having to take avoiding action. That was a massive spin. As Mancinelli now. Enzo, of course, currently the slower of the two, but still in the 209s on the fastest, and on the day can be absolutely rapid. Ooh. Pushes as hard as possible, getting a clean line through the fast right-hander coming up to the chicane. Let's have a look at the line. Bit tight on the inside there. I wonder why. Perhaps there's a bit up here. As now coming round to the right-hander. And let's just see what the times are starting to look like. So you have 2:34 in the wet. Obviously with some avoiding action. Was the Lexus on track runner? There it was. We could have a look at the Lexus actually. As yeah, we are starting to see some rain tyres now coming out into play. Kirkham, interestingly, was running earlier. Hasn't come out since, and Hayes also has been running earlier but hasn't put on tyres. So overall we've had 13 cars on track so far in the first 45 minutes. Let's have a little cruising around. Something particularly interesting. Van der Peet is behind one of the Volkswagens. That could be either Vega or Kart. I can't tell you yet. But either way, they've had a massive wobble. I believe that would be Kart. 54, yep, that would be Kart. So Van der Peet and Kart both following each other very nicely through there. And it's pretty good running so far. We've had a couple of spins, a couple of offs, but generally has been quite calm. Alright, so here we go, we'll see him take a different line. The Volkswagen are sweeping over the track, and yeah, look at that rain, those heavy, heavy rain falling onto the track now. If all cars aren't going to be getting the most representative lap times in the world, but it will be very, very strong, as we have a Citroen, and I believe there's a couple other cars there. There's a Nissan on the right side of your camera, now left side, the Volkswagen given a bit of a tow down straight, and Pilch, the other Scope driver, now onto the track. Tiffenton is also, of course, still going. Stein, sorry, that was Stein. I thought that might have been Everts. That's Stein who leads the pack. Oh, and Stein has had a big off in the Nissan at the moment. Seems to be okay. Just clipped the barrier there. Let's see just what can go on. Just clip back for later. That's the thumbnail. And there we go. So they're all sort of running right now. There's not really too much action needed on this spot in terms of track together, as far as I can tell. So, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 40 minutes left of this pre-season testing session. Seems that a lot of them are on long runs, getting plentiful good experience in the wet. This will be useful at a lot of circuits. But again, not likely the first round at Wellington Park, of which has normally been held at a time when it's dry, so should be alright for most drivers to compete there. As here we go, we've got Van der Peet, sort of just cruising now. Oh, and that's Stein, I believe, again. That's had an off. Yep, Richard Stein onto the grass. We've lost him there. Oh, there you go, he's back. On the left side of your image, Richard Stein has had an off on the grass at the chicane. Has decided that that's enough of that. Heads into the pits. Let's have a look. We haven't looked at the Lexus in a minute. Let's have a look at the Lexus. In fact, we've lost that car. That's decided they've had enough. So, it appears that Hayes seems to be having issues connecting to the server, so that could be potentially problematic. But Rimkunas now, who's of course having to push it in the wet. Going as fast as possible. Because the Zero Motorsports team, again with their very experimental, very beautiful livery, I'm a fan. I think maybe the Ing logo needs a bit of contrast. It's a bit hard to see, and it's a bit chaotic, but overall, Lexus has done a pretty stunning job with that livery, Zero Motorsports. So, kudos to them. Say, as Rimkunas throws that car out that corner. Look at that sideways action. Going down the hill towards the turn now. It's an excellent proficiency. Here we go. Let's have a look at the exit. Does he get too trigger happy on the throttle? No, he doesn't. And there's two Volkswagens there, both of them going quite slowly. For a moment, I wonder if they've had a... We'll have to have a look, of course. As Oh! And there's Elliot Vega going for a very 360. He gets the style points as Kart now letting the Lexus through. But this is looking like, obviously for the drivers, this is a lot of information. How does my car handle in the wet? Well, today, here you go. Here's your look at those conditions, and if you want me to be honest, it's looking a lot like the Nissan, the Volkswagen, and the Skoda are really struggling in the wet conditions. The Alfa Romeo doesn't seem to be phased, although we have had a moment as well. Maximilian Marsha, how are you doing in Vauxhall? We saw you have a little moment earlier, but seems to have been under control ever since. Seems to be quite tricky. So, I've just received some update from Team Skoda regarding the racing right now. It appears that they weren't trying for fast laps, but they were trying to just get laps in the conditions, and they think they have pace despite the weather. And Marsha goes round, does a little pirouette. Again at turn 8, the turn 8 curve claims another victim in these absolutely treacherous conditions that are on the Nurburgring, of course. And yeah, Maximilian Marsha seems to be getting adapted to the conditions well, but the Vauxhall is absolutely, must be very difficult to drive. Yep. As there he goes off the track, but now rejoins very, very quickly there. Seems to have caught the tarmac. Yeah, what is it with Germany and wet races and absolute chaos? Even though this isn't a race, this is pre-season testing, but we're still seeing all the slips, trips and bumps that you would see on a standard race weekend. As here we go, it goes in, and now hooks it up very nicely through there, goes through the hairpin, and we are starting to see a few more people connect now to the session, as we have Jacob Ordonez has joined the session for Team Honda Repsol. See how they do as they come out on track, as the other Skoda driver, Pilch, I believe, Presmill Pilch. Let's have a look at Presmill Pilch. Best time of 2:37, which wouldn't be normally a good lap, like a good of a lap time, but because of the wet conditions, we don't know exactly what the true pace of the Skoda is. It's a very stunning livery there. That bright green, the arrows. Oh! We'd like to see it more on screen than off of the track there, as we saw. Coming up to the long back straight for the chicane underneath the H&R bridge. Let's go right. Let's have a look. Let's go up the hill. Seems to be solid though. Straight line speed doesn't seem to be an issue with the Skoda. As they go pretty much flat through there. As Pilch now. Oh, and I seem to have lost my camera feed. There you go, Pilch is back. 2:27, that's 10 seconds faster than their previous attempt, although for some reason that's not marking on my HUD, so maybe that was an invalid lap? Yep, that was invalid, right, okay. And Pilch now going a little bit deep, but fair, in the lines, 2 wheels in. Very good car control, demonstrated by the driver. How about Hayes? Has Hayes managed to get back in? Hayes has managed to get back in. Kart now. Oh, good timing for me to join that. Kart goes wide at turn 8. And yeah, again, I think, although we shouldn't read into it too much because it is pre-season testing, the Volkswagen does appear to be having a bit of an issue with wet. So for them, they'll be very happy at the dry conditions expected at Donington Park, which there for sure will probably be a lot quicker. Okay, so what other interesting information is there? Oh, so I was going to the pits. All right. Both Volkswagens now pitting. Let's have a look at the Honda. I drove this car in 1999, and Ordonez now takes the wheel of the Redstone Honda, the number 41, which is actually my standard racing number outside of the series. So it feels quite strange seeing a car with that number that I drove and not being in it, to be honest. But alas, here we go. We'll see. Let's see how the Redstone Honda adapts to the current conditions. Goes round now. Seems to be sort of very floaty, that Accord. No headlights either. Oh, and there goes Jacob Ordonez into the gravel trap. Can he get it started again? Yes, he can, thankfully. Seems to be waiting for those ones coming past. Can't see, this camera's too close. And here we go then. And again, I believe Ordonez is another rookie driver. I don't know. Oh, that's another turn 8. Turn 8, the wet destroyer of cars, it seems, in these conditions. Absolutely causing trouble for all the cars out there. With half an hour left in the practice session of this pre-season testing, we seem to be achieving a lot of information here. We're seeing that the cars do struggle in the wet, quite a lot actually, and I wonder if that is now... No, everyone does have rain tyres on. Okay, so the people who are out there are on rain tyres. It's not like we're seeing people running slicks, which would be quite cursed. Van der Peet has decided to be in, Mancinelli is in, Marsha is out there. 2:23 was the last one, 2:23.6. So the conditions do affect the lap times quite a lot, about 10 seconds on that. Off of like some of the best laps, over 10 seconds. Let's have a look at the fastest driver right now. Yeah, over 10 seconds, 15 seconds off of the last lap time. 2:23 seems to be a good benchmark. So the likes of, oh, and a bit of oversteer there. The likes of Marshner only being 4 tenths off this time is actually a really good sign for the Vauxhall team. They should be very happy with what's going on at the moment. How about Mancinelli? The Alfa Romeo didn't seem to be having too many issues in the conditions, as it now comes down to turn 8. Let's see if it can survive the corner that has claimed so many, and again, commentator's curse seems to strike, because Alex Mancinelli goes wide at turn 8. Not a full pirouette, just a little bit of gravel, it seems, so I guess it's better than the worst case scenario. Mancinelli, of course, now isn't going to be doing an absolutely tremendous lap time. Let's have a look at... Oh, we caught Marshall as he gets a bit of curb there. Does a very, very crazy ride on the curbs. As I think that has Vega improved? I think maybe. Pilch has just done a 2:25.9. So is only 2 seconds off of the fastest cars in the wet. So the Skoda's doing pretty good as Bivona calls into the pits and decides that he's had enough. Number 37 then. Let's have a look at the Skoda. Who, of course, partners the experienced Tiffin, the new rookie Presmel Pilch. I think I've completely butchered that name, please forgive me if I have. Seems to be pretty solid. Is again within 2 seconds of the fastest guys in the Nissans, the Alphas, and Citroens. So, and also the Vauxhall, again, surprisingly quite fast. And we'll see. Go. Nice exit out there, turn 7. Let's have a look at again, the forbidden corner, it seems. This corner seems to be catching every driver off guard. Very unusually, as we see. But not Pilch, apparently. Pilch manages to get through there successfully. Into the Schumacher S. Very nice line through there. Was that a Volkswagen off screen? That was a Volkswagen. Which Volkswagen is that? Is that Kart? Yeah. There you go, Kart. Seems to have had it off at the top of the hill. Seems to be okay. It's kept it going. Number 54. Has done a good job so far at exploring the car's potential in a variety of ways and succeeding. So yeah, let's see. Just what shenanigans will transpire as we may need to cut the broadcast short. And I hope that's alright with the broadcast team at Wtcs, because we may need to cut the broadcast short as we did overrun a little bit on our part. But so far, and is it just me or does it look a no, it's still so just the camera angle. I'll say it looks a bit drier. But we may need to terminate the broadcast very shortly. So so right now, let's one more time recap the story, because it seems to be the only thing I can sort of do right now. Mancinelli's are looking good in the Alphas. Toyota have a good lap with Vivona, Mancinelli and Everts and Van der Pie are also looking very quick. Lexus are looking to be a solid midfield contender with the Volkswagens just behind. And Skoda, both Skodas also seem to be around the Volkswagen pace. But of course, again, we can't exactly read into this session quite as much as I'd like to hope because of the wet weather. So some cars, like, ooh, there was a car that went off there. Was that car again? Yes, it was. Seems to have decided that a reset is necessary. And there goes, let's have a look. Is there a car that's... Oh, actually, here we go, some action. Both Alfa Romeos. The family rivalry of Mancinelli and Mancinelli, actually, Enzo and Alex. That was not a very good way to phrase that. As they battle each other. And it's surely must be a sight to behold for the Mancinelli family. We're not going to reference the copy pasta, if you know, you know. But yeah, let's have a look. Both of them going around as Rimkana is deciding to step out of the car now. And we're starting to see less and less cars on tracks. The conditions have become very treacherous. To the point where perhaps cars are considering not running just because of the weather, to avoid damage, or to avoid problems. And Enzo now. And there's a VW there as well. That's Alex going up the inside, and Enzo now following up just behind. And yeah, we'll sort of see, I suppose, is the answer, isn't it? Oh, and there's a whoa, and there's a Volkswagen that's gone very wide. That'll be Elliot Vega, who's had a massive spin there. Whoa. Keeps it going. Doesn't have to do anything crazy, thankfully. But that was a very large spin. Wow, right across the front of both the Alfa Romeos. Something very, very insane just happened there. But the Bora, of course, a new car for this season. And an excellent looking machine. Seeming to also be one of the other trickier cars as is flashing his lights. I don't know if that's out of frustration or if that's something else, but blinking the lights down great. There's nothing there, so no, it seems to be just be out of frustration after obviously a massive spin. But I'll have a look now. Let's have a look at Ordonez in the Honda. Let's see if they've managed to improve a little bit. Well, I think that might have answered itself, but Ordonez might have had... That Honda then must be very difficult to drive in these conditions. Decides to enter the pit lane. Let's have a look. Mancinelli in the pits. Is Everts out there? Everts is out there. You know what? We haven't watched Jos Everts for a little bit. Let's have a look at Jos Everts. Let's see what they're doing in the Nissan Primera. Seems to be very smooth running. Not a whole lot to complain about, I'm guessing, in the Nissan camp. So, I mean, oh! And I need to stop saying things, because Everts has now done a straight 360 in the Nissan. It seems whoever I watch seems to be cursed at the moment with the ability to spin. No, we're not getting a Beyblade sponsorship. It's just the nature of the track. It is absolutely treacherous out there now, to the point of near undrivability, I believe, for those cars. So we'll see how that influences things. And got Enzo now, sort of carefully driving, casually driving around. On a reasonably good lap, actually. We'll see how this plays out. Down to the chicane, a bit deep to hook up that second apex. I think that's what they're doing. They're going deep to hook up the second apex. As we now go left, and this is looking like a very strong lap here from Enzo Mancinelli. We'll see what I can manage. And that's a 225.4, which again is within that 223, 225 bracket. So whether that's just the conditions, or whether that's something else, I don't know. But, yeah, Marshall has decided to pit, Vega is in the pit, Karts is pitted, Pilch is still running, and Ordonez as well in the Honda. So, we've got a few cars out there, a lot of them appear to have had varying degrees of success in this test. Hopefully their results have... they're satisfied with, and that they can sort of improve from here. So Marshall's in. We've got a nice little scrap here. Let's see if they have a little fight between Mancinelli and Jos Everts. So Enzo now rushing down to turn 8. Leading the way ahead of the other car. All that spray, and I think Everts has had a bit of a moment there. Seemed to have picked him up alright. Had a little slide, and on the curve there, absolutely giving it full beans. This comes up the hill. And here we go. And Everts now. Maybe looking for a move. I know it's wet, I know it's pre-season testing. It would be cool to see a little fight on track. So they're both sort of running in intermediate pace. And that sound. I don't know what car that is ahead. There is a car somewhere that is absolutely emitting a wonderful sound. And is it the... It is the Alfa Romeo. I mean, that sound is fabulous. And there's a Skoda there going a little bit slowly. In fact, has stopped. Seems to have had a moment. Pilch there. Skoda has had a small spin. Coming out of the chicane. That's an interesting spot. As one of the Volkswagen drivers now decides to finish their session, I believe. So, we're down to 8 cars. Everts, Mancinelli's, Pete, Marshall, Kart, and Pilch, and Dennis. All of which are doing their best to make the most out of what was otherwise absolutely dreadful conditions for the cars to go through. As hit the brakes now. right-hander into turn 1. Over the hill, turn 2 has to be very tight, very controlled. And then you let grip on the throttle, but you can't do it too much in the wet because of the curve. If you go too early, that curve will hit you and you just spin. Turn 3, very nice line into there. Swing straight into turn 4. And then 5 on the exit. Pretty solid on the straight here, turn 5. And then you get 6 and 7. Which are both intermediate pilch there, getting a little bit loosey-goosey on the rear end again, but seems to hold it steady. As we go down now into turn 8, the favourite, the infamous turn 8. Holding my breath as I await to see whether they make it through the corner or not. But that Skoda is looking good. Okay, I don't know if you heard that. I hope you didn't, but if you did, I'm sorry. But we are going to have to end the broadcast here, so we will end this result. It seems like the conditions are fairly stable and it doesn't seem like much is going to happen now. Ordonez does a 2:22 as I say that. And it's an excellent lap from Ordonez in the Honda. Right, on that note, we will have to end there our stream. Thank you for tuning in to Pole Vision for our first round coverage of the pre-season testing of World Touring Car Super 2000. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to follow us on our channel. We'll be moving from the Filteon channel straight to Pole Vision shortly after this. The reason we're on the Filteon channel is because of some streaming restrictions that I need to get cleared on the channel, but once it's done, we will be clear. So, yeah, we will send a link to that channel as soon as possible. But, with that note, I've been your commentator, Toby Holloway. It has been a wonderful WTCS pre-season testing session today at the Nurburgring. See you tomorrow. Good night.